Hello everyone, it's Casty and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my May wrap up. Sorry if I get super red or something. It's very hot where I live right now, and if I put my fan on it ruins the audio of the video, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. Let's talk about all the books that I read in May. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Both of those would mean the world to me. Make sure to turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload from me. And let's just get right into the video. My first book is not this book. I just use this one as a placeholder for the thumbnail because it was a book that I borrowed. So I read Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens or something like that. And if you watched my last wrap up for April, I started reading it in April and I finished it in May. I read about half and half in each month, so I thought I'd wrap up my thoughts still in the May wrap up. Obviously this book has been super popular and it's got a lot of hype around it and everything. For me personally, after reading this book, I just know it's not the type of book that I really enjoy. It was not a bad book whatsoever. It was a good book, but it's just like not my type of book, which is fine because like not every book is gonna be my type of book. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars, which is not bad, not great. Wasn't like a new favorite or anything, but it wasn't a bad book. I don't really have much to say. I felt like I really had to pay attention in this book, and I don't know if it was because, one, they're not really speaking proper English for half of the book, or more than half the book. Did I say A or did I say 1? 2 or B, whatever the heck I said. Or if it was because I wasn't super into it. I also kind of felt like the book was too long, but then the very end of the book was just rushed through, if that makes any sense. The author could have taken some stuff out from the middle and then put more thought into the last like 10 pages, make it a little bit longer, because it was so rushed over. And I think maybe there was a point to that, like there was a reason for that for sure, but like I didn't really like that. The twist was like, there was a twist. It was kind of not really surprising at all, but if you've watched any of my channel, you know that I really like murder mystery type of books. So there's not that many books that surprise me in like murder mysteries anymore. And this is definitely not a murder mystery, but it has a murder mystery aspect to the book. If you don't read a bunch of murder mystery and you just want to dabble in it, this book may be good. Take a shot every single time I say murder mystery. Me being a fan of that type of book, it was just like meh kind of twist, because like could have guessed it. Then, as per usual, I read 3 Pretty Little Liars books this month. First, I read Ruthless. I'm also very close to being done the series, and I'm so excited, but I'm also kind of sad. I've actually grown to really enjoy this series. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how I feel once I actually finish it. And I'm going to have a whole video about the whole series coming out once I finish it, but that won't be until probably July, end of July, so... But watch out for that. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that video. But yeah, first one is Ruthless, or the first one I read this month was Ruthless. This wasn't my favorite book in the series, but it was still good. But I still gave it a 4 stars. It might be like 3.5, but closer to 4. The Arya love triangle in this is fun and interesting. Ezra in the books is he's even... You know, like the whole teacher and student thing on the show. Creepy. But he's so different in these books. Like, he is literally so weird. Hooks up with multiple people who are still in high school and is needy, creepy guy. So I'm hoping he's not in the rest of the series, and just that character just needs to go. I'm also glad the character Claudia isn't as big of a character in this book, because I couldn't stand her. I'm also very happy in this book. They seem like they're becoming friends again. Thank goodness. That's all I've been wanting, is them to actually be a group of friends instead of individuals. If you've watched Pretty Little Liars, you know Emily's kind of stupid, kind of annoying, kind of, sorry, I love Shay Mitchell, but like kind of like too naive that it's like annoying. And this book is so, it shows it even more than normal. I wrote, Emily is literally so dumb and oblivious to everything. I swear, it is so annoying and hides so much for no reason. She won't tell anyone that she left the door open. Just friggin' tell them. You're literally letting all this A stuff happen because you won't tell them what you did. You are literally causing so many issues by not telling them. So just tell them. Just tell them. Just tell them. Just tell them. Being naive is one thing, but she's like, you are literally getting harassed by a human being, and you're so naive about it. I always say I'm going to talk really quick about the Pretty Little Liars books, but they always take me longer than I think. Next is Stunning. It was my only hardcover, but I actually really liked having a hardcover. So it has like this foiling on the front that says, I've got my eye on you, and I kind of wish I would have had the hardcover for more, like all of them, but that's okay. I also gave this one 4 stars. Gail is like this creepy, weird character that I just don't get, really. Their theory of her being A is just, like, are you dumb? Why would this middle-aged woman know all this stuff about you and be your stalker? Just in general, why would she be A? So at this point I wrote a note saying I wonder if they're gonna have a character that they think is A each book. Spoiler alert, they do for this one and for the next one. I don't really understand how they don't realize that literally everything in their life is connected and how A connects everything. Again, I was having problems with Emily in this book because she was literally gonna give her baby away to some stranger that she knew nothing about, never met the husband or anything, just because she was rich. Literally just because she was rich. You're a bad person. Daria hides way too much from Noel, and she finds out in this book that she shouldn't be hiding this stuff from him. Then she continues to hide stuff from him. And it's just like, literally the one thing he asks from you is for you to be honest with him. You don't have to tell him about Tabitha. I get that. Tell him about what happened in Iceland. I don't even know what happened in Iceland yet. But there's this mystery of something that she did in Iceland, and it's gonna come out. You know. Just tell Noel because A's gonna tell him. I'm also very glad that Hannah and Mike are together in this book again, because they actually seem like a good couple that's like very happy together, whereas some of the other couples sometimes don't. I guess Caleb is just like not a character in these books, but I wish he was, because I really liked Caleb on the show. I did read these books kind of at the same time. I started this book, couldn't get into it, so I just started reading this book at the same time. This one's called Burned, so I gave Burned 4 stars as well. The last few books I've really enjoyed that I just kept wanting to read Pretty Little Liars and nothing else. I just wanted to be in this universe. They've been pretty good. I think like the second half, personally for me, I think I said this last wrap up, the second half of these books have been better than the first half for me, but maybe it's just because it's a totally different story than the show. Like I said, this is another book where they think one person is A for most of the book, or they're kind of starting to think that there's 2 A's. This better be the last book where they hyper focus in on one person being A, because it's kind of really annoying, because literally the whole arc of the story is they're getting messages from A, and then they get hints of it being some person, and then they really think it's some person, get in this big conflict with this person or something, and then they find out the A is not that person. And so that's like been basically the story arc of these 2 books, and so I just want a different arc. This one, they're on a cruise. It's like a school trip, and I actually really liked how they switched up the setting. Instead of it being in Rosewood again, it just like was a nice break from being in Rosewood, and they were just on this trip, and it was just like fun to see a different dynamic of everyone. So it was a smart play to put this in a different setting, just because we've had all those books and these books all in rosewood. Switch it up, and then we only have like 4 more books, so we can deal with them being like, it works again for them to be in rosewood because they had a break. These are supposed to be like rich, decently rich city or whatever town, so like they're not gonna be staying in rosewood all the time. One thing that I don't really like about these books that keeps happening, some major thing will happen at the ending of a book or something, and they won't show them resolving the problem or like talking about stuff. Like they'll just brush over certain conversations. So in this book, an example of it would be that we don't see Emily tell her parents that she's pregnant. At the beginning of the book, she just tells us that she told her parents that she was pregnant, and it was in between the 2 books. And they do that a lot with these books, so that's one thing I don't really like. It's like telling instead of showing. They kind of describe it to show it to you, but it wasn't like you were there. You were looking back on a flashback, and I just wish it was more like you were there. This one was good, and I'm very excited to read some more, and I'm very excited to finish this series, like I said. Final book I read in May was The Initial Insult by Mindy McGinnis. I did do a whole reading vlog for this book. I believe that will be my next upload. Sometimes I just mess that up, but hopefully this will be my next video. So I'm not going to overly talk about this because I have a whole reading vlog for it and like my review of it. I gave this book 2 stars. It's a very weird book, and it's nothing that I wanted it to be, and I'm really disappointed about that. This cat, I thought it was just supposed to be because she lives at a zoo. This cat has a way too big of a part in the book. This cat, you see like its perspective. It has like poems from the cat's perspective. And that is literally one of the weirdest things I've ever read in my life. This cat, I think it's a panther or something like that, I can't really remember. But this cat is so smart and civilized, and it literally doesn't make sense. Like, this isn't a fantasy book. It's supposed to be real, but this cat doesn't attack people when it gets out. Spoiler alert, it gets out of its cage in this book, and it goes to a party, and it goes up the back stairs and doesn't attack anyone. It knows to go up the back stairs so no one sees it. Like, what? I thought my camera just deleted the whole video that I just filmed, and I almost started crying. So at the beginning of the book, I had a really hard time getting into it. That's why I started reading this one. Honestly, the only way I got through it was doing reading sprints and like forced myself, because I was like, I have to get this book done by May 30th. I wanted to not have any rollover books into June. And also, since I was doing the reading vlog, honestly, if I wasn't doing the reading vlog, I probably would have DNF'd this. I will not be reading the second book. This is supposed to be a duology, and I will not be reading the second book. Well, I hope. I have this problem where if I start a series, I just kind of have to finish it. My brain doesn't really want me to stop. I'm hoping if like there's a long enough break before the second one comes out, I'll forget that it's even a thing and we won't have to read it. The thing is, with series, there's a difference in between a cliffhanger. It's just like this book is supposed to have a cliffhanger, which it kind of does, but the cliffhanger is honestly like makes it so there was literally 0 point for this book, because we didn't learn that much in this book. Just not very much point to this being the first book, because what did we learn? Not that much. This book could have been much shorter. If they were going to make it a duology, just make this book shorter and then have a second one if you really want to have that cliffhanger or whatever. But this book is way too long for how little we learned about the story and how little we move forward in the story. Like, we get to the party that the main plot happens in the first like 70 pages, and then the rest of the book is in that party. There's flashbacks, so that's like kind of not true, but the flashbacks, I'll give that. The flashbacks and like the different perspectives, those are the 2 selling points for this book. But other than that, I did not really have a good time reading this. I don't know if any of that really made any sense, but like, I just don't recommend this book. If you read it and you liked it, I'm very happy for you. I just didn't really like it, and it was kind of just like, what? For most of the book. So yeah, but make sure to watch my reading vlog when it comes out. So that is all the books that I read in May. If you want to see the books that I'm planning on reading in June, make sure to check out my June TBR, which has already been posted, so it'll be linked down in the description box and in the cards. I'll try and remember. Let me know down in the comments what books you read in May, what your thoughts on them or the ratings. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Both of those would mean the world to me. Turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload from me, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter, which will be on the screen and in the description box below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!